What if I told you that one of Indonesia's most remarkable stories is hidden between two magnificent seas, shaped by centuries of kingdoms, colonial struggles, political transformation, and breathtaking natural beauty, yet very few people have ever heard its name? This is not Bali. This is not Jakarta. This is not a destination that dominates travel magazines or floods your social media feed. This is Boalemo, a regency in Gorontalo province that quietly carries one of the richest historical legacies in northern Sulawesi, a place where history did not simply happen, history was forged, where kingdoms rose, colonial powers redrew borders, communities fought for their own identity, and an entirely new chapter of Indonesian history was written. Today, Boalemo stands as one of the youngest regencies in Indonesia, officially established on October 12, 1999. Yet its true story stretches back hundreds of years, proving that age does not determine greatness, because sometimes the places people overlook become the places that tell the greatest stories. This is the incredible story of Boalemo. Nestled within the province of Gorontalo on the northern arm of Sulawesi Island, Boalemo serves as one of the region's most important administrative and cultural centers. Its capital, Tilamuta, may appear peaceful today, but every street, every coastline, and every village reflects generations of resilience and transformation. As of 2021, Boalemo is home to more than 147,000 people. Behind that number are thousands of families, traditions, and communities that continue to preserve the values passed down through generations, while embracing the opportunities of modern Indonesia. But to truly understand Boalemo, we must travel far beyond statistics. We must journey back several centuries. Long before Indonesia existed as a nation, long before colonial borders divided the archipelago, Boalemo was already recognized as a kingdom. Historical records show that during the 17th century, the Kingdom of Boalemo controlled much of western Gorontalo. It was more than a political entity, it was a center of regional influence that connected communities across northern Sulawesi through trade, diplomacy, and shared traditions. For generations, local rulers governed these lands according to customs deeply rooted in Gorontalo's cultural identity. Their authority reflected not only political leadership, but also social harmony, community values, and spiritual responsibility. Then, history changed forever. European colonial powers arrived. When the Dutch expanded their influence across the Indonesian archipelago, they reorganized local governments to strengthen colonial administration. In 1925, official state records divided the Gorontalo Residency into two major administrative regions. One became the Gorontalo Subdivision, overseeing districts that included Atinggola, Kwandang, Sumalata, Batudar, Tibawa, Gorontalo, Telaga, Tapa, Kabila, Suwawa, and Bonapantai. The other became the Boalemo Subdivision. Under its authority were Paguyaman, Tilamuta, and Paguat. Although these administrative boundaries were created by colonial authorities, they unintentionally preserved Boalemo's historical importance as a distinct region with its own administrative identity. Even under foreign rule, Boalemo remained an important part of northern Sulawesi. The end of colonial rule did not bring immediate stability. Indonesia entered a new era filled with political restructuring. In 1946, Sulawesi became part of the state of East Indonesia before eventually integrating into the Republic of Indonesia. As Indonesia developed its modern governmental system, Boalemo became a district within Gorontalo Regency under Law No. 29 of 1959. This administrative status remained in place for decades. Government offices continued operating under Gorontalo Regency, whose administrative centre was located in Limboto. But geography presented a growing challenge. Boalemo's communities were separated from the Regency capital by considerable distances. Delivering public services became increasingly difficult. Infrastructure development required faster decision-making. Local aspirations grew stronger. The people wanted a government closer to home. Throughout the 1980s and 1990s, community leaders, local officials, and residents continued advocating for greater regional autonomy. They believed Boalemo possessed the historical legitimacy, economic potential, and administrative capacity to stand on its own. Support came from many directions. The Regent of Gorontalo supported the proposal. The Regional House of Representatives endorsed the initiative. Even before Gorontalo became its own province, support was expressed by the Governor and Regional Parliament of North Sulawesi. Finally, after years of determination, the national government responded. On October 4, 1999, Indonesia enacted Law No. 50 of 1999, later refined through Law No. 10 of 2000. Just days later, on October 12, 1999, Boalemo officially became an autonomous regency. A dream that had taken generations finally became reality. At its birth, Boalemo consisted of 5 districts: Paguat, Marisa, Popayato, Paguyaman, and Tilamuta. The new regency represented a significant milestone not only for Gorontalo, but also for Indonesia's broader decentralization movement following the Reformasi era. Autonomy meant local leaders could better understand local needs, development could become more responsive, communities could shape their own future. But history had another chapter waiting. Only a few years later, Boalemo itself experienced another transformation. Rapid population growth and expanding administrative responsibilities encouraged further regional restructuring. On January 27, 2003, Pohuwato Regency was officially established. 5 districts that had originally belonged to Boalemo became part of the new regency: Lemito, Marisa, Paguat, Popayato, and Randangan. The separation reduced Boalemo's territory, but strengthened administrative efficiency for both regions. More importantly, it resolved a long-standing issue regarding the planned relocation of Boalemo's capital from Tilamuta to Marisa, an obligation previously included in national legislation. With Pohuwato established, Tilamuta remained Boalemo's capital, preserving its historical role at the heart of the regency. Sometimes losing territory is not losing strength. Sometimes it creates the opportunity to build something stronger. Today, Boalemo occupies a strategic location between 2 extraordinary bodies of water. To the north lies the Sulawesi Sea. To the south stretches the magnificent Tomini Gulf, one of Indonesia's most spectacular marine environments. To the east, Boalemo borders Gorontalo Regency. To the west, it shares its boundary with Pohuwato Regency. This unique geography places Boalemo at the crossroads of marine ecosystems, agricultural landscapes, and mountain environments. Its location has shaped local livelihoods for centuries. Fishing communities thrive along the coast. Farmers cultivate fertile inland valleys. Forests shelter diverse wildlife, and rivers continue nourishing villages across the regency. Nature remains one of Boalemo's greatest strengths. Covering more than 2,500 square kilometers, Boalemo accounts for roughly 1/5 of Gorontalo province's total land area. Despite its significant size, population density remains relatively moderate, allowing many areas to retain their natural character. Over the years, administrative boundaries have evolved alongside population growth. Today, the regency consists of 7 districts: Botumoito, Dulupi, Manangu, Paguyaman, Paguyaman Pantai, Tilamuta, and Wonosari. Together they encompass dozens of villages where local traditions remain deeply respected. Each district contributes its own cultural identity, agricultural production, and community life to the wider story of Boalemo. The Regency's economy reflects the diversity of its landscape. Agriculture continues to provide livelihoods for thousands of families. Rice fields, coconut plantations, corn production, and other crops form the backbone of rural communities. Meanwhile, coastal fisheries support local markets while supplying seafood to neighboring regions. Small businesses continue growing as infrastructure improves. Education expands opportunities for younger generations. Healthcare services become increasingly accessible. Road networks strengthen connections between villages. Every year brings another step toward greater prosperity. Development here is not measured only by buildings or highways. It is measured by stronger communities, better schools, healthier families, and brighter futures. Yet perhaps Boalemo's greatest treasure cannot be measured in statistics. It lives within its people. Across villages and towns, Gorontalo traditions continue shaping everyday life. Respect for elders, community cooperation, mutual assistance, hospitality toward visitors. These values remain deeply embedded in local culture. Religious traditions continue strengthening social harmony. Festivals celebrate local identity. Traditional foods preserve centuries of culinary heritage. Stories passed from grandparents to grandchildren ensure that history never disappears. Because culture survives only when people choose to protect it. And the people of Boalemo continue making that choice every single day. For travelers searching for Indonesia beyond the famous destinations, Boalemo offers something increasingly rare: authenticity. Here, visitors can experience quiet coastlines instead of crowded beaches, traditional villages instead of commercial resorts, natural beauty without overwhelming tourism. The surrounding landscapes reveal rolling hills, fertile valleys, crystal clear waters, and dramatic coastal scenery overlooking the Tomini Gulf. It is the kind of destination that rewards curiosity, the kind of place where every conversation becomes a lesson in history, every journey becomes an unforgettable memory. Boalemo may not dominate international headlines, it may not appear on every travel bucket list, but greatness has never depended on popularity. Some places change the world quietly. They preserve history while others chase trends. They protect culture while others forget their roots. They build stronger communities without demanding global attention. Boalemo is one of those places. Its story reminds us that true progress is built upon remembering where we came from, that resilience grows through generations, and that identity is worth protecting. So the next time someone asks you about Indonesia, do not speak only about the destinations everyone already knows. Tell them about the kingdom that became a regency. Tell them about the people who fought for autonomy. Tell them about the communities that transformed challenges into opportunity. Tell them about the land embraced by the Sulawesi Sea and the Tomini Gulf. Tell them about Boalemo, because every nation has hidden stories, every province has forgotten treasures, and every overlooked place has the power to inspire the world. Boalemo is not simply a point on the map. It is living proof that history, resilience, culture, and hope can come together to create something extraordinary. And perhaps the greatest destinations are not the ones everyone visits. They are the ones that leave a permanent mark on your heart. Beyond its history and geography, Boalemo possesses something that many places spend decades trying to build: potential. Not potential based on promises, not potential built on speculation, but potential rooted in real resources, real people, and real opportunities. Across its fertile plains, agriculture continues to serve as one of the strongest pillars of the local economy. Generations of farmers have cultivated these lands with patience and determination, producing rice, corn, coconuts, and other valuable crops that support thousands of households. Every harvest represents more than food or income. It represents resilience passed from one generation to the next. Along its southern coastline, the Tomini Gulf offers another extraordinary blessing. Recognized as one of Indonesia's most biologically diverse marine regions, these waters provide abundant fisheries while supporting countless coastal communities. Every sunrise signals the beginning of another day for fishermen who venture into the Gulf, relying on knowledge that has been handed down through families for centuries. For them, the sea is not simply a source of income. It is a way of life. It teaches patience. It teaches courage. It teaches respect for nature. Those lessons continue shaping the character of Boalemo today. The Regency's strategic location also places it within an important corridor connecting western Gorontalo with neighboring regions. Roads linking villages and districts continue improving mobility, making education, healthcare, commerce, and government services more accessible than ever before. Progress here is steady. It may not always be dramatic, but it is meaningful. Because sustainable development is rarely built overnight. It is built one school at a time, one bridge at a time, one clinic at a time, one opportunity at a time. That philosophy reflects the spirit of Boalemo itself. Patient, persistent, forward-looking. Throughout the Regency, education has become an increasingly important foundation for the future. Young people pursue higher learning while remaining connected to the cultural values that define their communities. Parents dream that their children will become teachers, doctors, engineers, entrepreneurs, scientists, public servants, and innovators who contribute not only to Boalemo, but to Indonesia as a whole. These aspirations are transforming villages into communities filled with optimism, because every educated child becomes another bridge between tradition and progress. Healthcare services have also expanded over the years, improving quality of life for families across both urban and rural communities. Better access to medical care means healthier children, stronger workers, and more resilient communities. These improvements may seem ordinary to some, but for families living far from major metropolitan centers, every new healthcare facility, every trained medical professional, and every improved public service can change lives. That is the true meaning of development. It is not measured only by skyscrapers. It is measured by dignity, by opportunity, by hope. Boalemo also reflects one of Indonesia's greatest strengths: unity through diversity. Although deeply rooted in Gorontalo culture, the Regency has welcomed people from different regions, backgrounds, and professions. Farmers, fishermen, traders, civil servants, entrepreneurs, teachers, and students all contribute to a society built on cooperation rather than division. Community remains at the heart of everyday life. Neighbours help neighbours, families support one another. Traditional values continue encouraging mutual respect and collective responsibility. This spirit of togetherness has become one of Boalemo's greatest assets. Because infrastructure can be built, economies can grow, technology can evolve, but trust between people takes generations to create. Boalemo has protected that trust remarkably well. The natural beauty surrounding the Regency further strengthens its identity. Rolling green hills gradually descend toward peaceful coastlines. Dense forests shelter diverse ecosystems. Rivers carve their way across fertile landscapes before eventually meeting the sea. The changing colors of sunrise and sunset transform the horizon into breathtaking works of art almost every single day. These landscapes are more than beautiful scenery. They are reminders of Indonesia's extraordinary natural wealth. They remind us that conservation is not an obstacle to development. It is the foundation for sustainable prosperity. As global travelers increasingly seek authentic experiences rather than crowded tourist destinations, places like Boalemo possess an opportunity unlike any before. Visitors today are searching for genuine culture, authentic traditions, untouched nature, meaningful human connections. They want destinations that tell real stories. Boalemo has those stories. Stories written across centuries. Stories preserved by its people. Stories waiting to be discovered by the world. Imagine arriving in a place where the pace of life slows just enough to let you appreciate what truly matters. Where conversations last longer, where hospitality feels sincere rather than commercial, where history is not locked inside museums, but continues living through the people themselves. That is the experience Boalemo quietly offers. It does not try to compete through extravagance. It leaves an impression through authenticity. In many ways, Boalemo represents the Indonesia that millions of international visitors have yet to discover. An Indonesia beyond the famous islands, beyond the crowded attractions, beyond the destinations that dominate travel brochures. It represents an Indonesia built upon community, resilience, cultural pride, and extraordinary natural beauty. And perhaps that is exactly why its story matters. Because the future of tourism is not only about visiting places, it is about understanding people. The future of development is not only about building infrastructure, it is about empowering communities. The future of Indonesia is not only written in its largest cities, it is also being written in remarkable regions like Boalemo, where history continues inspiring the next generation to dream even bigger. Every road built, every student graduating, every entrepreneur opening a business, every fisherman returning safely home, every farmer celebrating another successful harvest. These are the quiet victories that rarely make international headlines, yet together they form the heartbeat of an entire regency, and that heartbeat grows stronger with every passing year. There is a tendency in today's world to judge a place by how often it appears online. If millions of photos are shared, we assume it must be important. If influencers constantly talk about it, we assume it must be worth visiting. If it trends on social media, we believe it deserves global attention. But history has taught us something very different. Some of humanity's greatest civilizations were once hidden from the world. Some of the most extraordinary cultures existed quietly for centuries before anyone truly understood their significance. Boalemo belongs to that tradition. It has never needed loud headlines to prove its value. Its identity was built long before the digital age. Its people preserved their customs long before hashtags existed. Its communities protected their heritage long before anyone thought about creating viral content. That quiet confidence is part of what makes Boalemo so remarkable. Because true identity does not depend on recognition, it depends on preservation. Throughout Indonesia, regional autonomy has transformed many communities by allowing local governments to better understand and respond to the unique needs of their people. Boalemo stands as an important example of that transformation. Since becoming an autonomous regency in 1999, local leadership has continued working to strengthen public services, improve education, expand healthcare, and develop infrastructure that connects communities across the region. The journey has not always been easy. Every developing region faces challenges, economic fluctuations, natural disasters, changing global markets, population growth, environmental conservation, infrastructure demands. Yet progress is not defined by the absence of obstacles. Progress is measured by the determination to overcome them. That determination continues to define Boalemo. One of the Regency's greatest strengths lies in its younger generation. Across schools, universities, and local communities, young people are beginning to shape a future that balances innovation with tradition. They understand that preserving culture does not mean rejecting progress. Likewise, embracing modernization does not require abandoning identity. Instead, they are proving that both can grow together. Technology can strengthen education, entrepreneurship can create opportunity, tourism can support conservation, local traditions can inspire global appreciation. This balance may become one of Boalemo's greatest advantages in the decades ahead. As the world becomes increasingly connected, authentic destinations are becoming more valuable than ever. Travelers no longer seek only luxury, they seek meaning. They seek experiences that cannot be replicated anywhere else. They want to understand local traditions, taste regional cuisine, listen to stories told by the people who have lived them, walk through landscapes that remain largely untouched, feel connected to something real. Boalemo offers exactly that. Its villages tell stories that cannot be manufactured. Its coastlines reveal beauty untouched by excessive commercialization. Its history reflects centuries of resilience that no modern attraction could ever imitate. And perhaps its greatest attraction is its people. Hospitality has always been one of Indonesia's defining characteristics, and in Boalemo, that spirit remains deeply woven into everyday life. Visitors are welcomed not merely as tourists, but as guests. Conversations are genuine, smiles come naturally. Communities proudly share their traditions because they understand that culture grows stronger when it is appreciated rather than forgotten. That human connection is something no skyscraper can replace, no luxury resort can replicate, no advertisement can manufacture. It is simply real. As Indonesia continues emerging as one of the world's most dynamic nations, regions like Boalemo remind us that national progress depends upon every community moving forward together. Every regency contributes to the country's larger story. Every village strengthens the national identity. Every citizen plays a role in shaping Indonesia's future. From the bustling streets of major cities to the peaceful shores of the Tomini Gulf, every corner of the archipelago carries its own chapter of an extraordinary national journey. Boalemo's chapter is one of resilience, a kingdom that adapted through changing eras, a community that endured colonial administration, a region that successfully achieved autonomy through democratic aspirations, a society that continues building a brighter future without forgetting its past. That is not simply local history, that is part of Indonesia's national story. Perhaps that is why places like Boalemo deserve far greater recognition, not because they seek attention, but because they remind us that greatness often grows quietly. It grows in classrooms where children dream of becoming tomorrow's leaders. It grows in fishing boats leaving before sunrise. It grows in rice fields where families work side by side. It grows in village gatherings where traditions are passed from elders to the next generation. It grows in communities that choose cooperation over conflict, hope over fear, progress over complacency. The world often celebrates spectacular moments. Boalemo teaches us to appreciate steady progress. The world often measures success by speed. Boalemo reminds us that lasting success is built patiently. The world often focuses on what is new. Boalemo reminds us that the future becomes stronger when it is rooted in history. That lesson extends far beyond the borders of this regency. It is a lesson for every community, every nation, and every generation. Because no matter where we come from, we all inherit stories from those who came before us. The question is whether we will protect those stories, learn from them, and carry them into the future. The people of Boalemo have already answered that question. Their answer can be seen in every village that preserves its traditions, every family that values education, every community that continues moving forward with quiet determination, and every new generation that believes tomorrow can be even better than today. That belief is more powerful than any monument, more enduring than any political boundary, more inspiring than any headline. It is the belief that transforms ordinary places into extraordinary ones, and Boalemo has been proving that truth for generations. And perhaps the most remarkable thing about Boalemo is that its greatest achievements are still unfolding. History has given this regency a remarkable foundation. Nature has blessed it with extraordinary landscapes. Its people have preserved values that cannot be bought or imported. Now, the future depends on how those strengths are transformed into lasting prosperity. Imagine what Boalemo could become in the next 20 or 30 years. A place where sustainable agriculture continues feeding communities while embracing modern innovation. A place where marine conservation protects the incredible biodiversity of the Tomini Gulf while supporting the livelihoods of local fishermen. A place where young entrepreneurs build businesses that compete not only across Indonesia, but throughout Southeast Asia. A place where tourism grows responsibly, creating opportunities without sacrificing the environment or the cultural identity that makes Boalemo so unique. This is not an impossible dream. It is a realistic vision built upon resources that already exist. The ingredients are already here: natural beauty, strategic geography, rich cultural heritage, strong community values, and above all, people who believe in the future of their homeland. Every successful region begins with that belief. Throughout history, no community has ever achieved lasting prosperity simply because it possessed abundant natural resources. Resources alone are never enough. Real progress comes from people, from leaders willing to serve, teachers willing to educate, parents willing to sacrifice, entrepreneurs willing to take risks, farmers willing to keep planting despite uncertainty, fishermen willing to face the open sea before dawn, young people willing to dream beyond the limitations of the present. Boalemo has always had those people. They are the true wealth of this regency, not the forests, not the coastline, not the fertile land, the people. Because roads can be damaged, buildings can grow old, economies can rise and fall, but a community built on integrity, resilience, and mutual respect possesses something far more valuable. It possesses the ability to rebuild again and again and again. That resilience has defined Boalemo throughout every chapter of its history, from the era of local kingdoms through colonial administration, across Indonesia's struggle to build a modern nation, during the movement for regional autonomy, and into the 21st century. Each generation faced different challenges. Each generation found different solutions. Yet all of them shared one common purpose: to leave a better Boalemo for those who would come after them. That is the responsibility of every generation, not simply to inherit history, but to improve it. The world today changes faster than ever before. Artificial intelligence is transforming industries. Digital technology connects billions of people. Climate change challenges every nation. Global markets evolve with extraordinary speed. Competition grows stronger every year. These changes affect every region, including Boalemo. Yet change should never become something to fear. Every major transformation in history has also created extraordinary opportunities. The communities that succeed are those willing to adapt while protecting the values that define them. Boalemo has already demonstrated that ability throughout its history. It adapted through changing governments. It adapted through administrative restructuring. It adapted through economic and social transformation. There is every reason to believe it can continue adapting in the decades ahead. Imagine a child growing up today in one of Boalemo's villages. Perhaps that child dreams of becoming a scientist, a doctor, an engineer, a teacher, a marine biologist, a business leader, or perhaps even a future regent who will guide Boalemo toward even greater achievements. Those dreams matter, because every great accomplishment begins as someone's impossible dream. Every university once began as an idea. Every bridge first existed as a drawing. Every successful company started with a single entrepreneur. Every nation was built by people who believed tomorrow could be better than today. The children of Boalemo carry that same possibility. Their future is not determined by where they were born. It is determined by the opportunities they create, the education they pursue, and the determination they show throughout their lives. That is why investing in people will always be the greatest investment any region can make. Education creates innovation. Innovation creates opportunity. Opportunity creates prosperity. And prosperity strengthens communities for generations. As more people around the world begin searching for destinations that offer authenticity instead of artificial experiences, Boalemo possesses a rare advantage. It does not need to invent a story. Its story already exists. It does not need to manufacture culture. Its traditions continue living every day. It does not need to create natural beauty. Nature has already done that. The responsibility now is simply to preserve these extraordinary gifts while sharing them wisely with the world. Because once authenticity is lost, it can never truly be replaced. The same is true for heritage. The same is true for identity. The same is true for community. These are treasures more valuable than any mineral beneath the ground or any building reaching toward the sky. They are treasures that become stronger when protected. So when future generations look back on this chapter of Boalemo's history, may they see more than statistics and development projects. May they see a community that chose wisdom over short-term gain, a society that balanced economic growth with environmental responsibility, a generation that understood progress is not only about becoming richer, it is also about becoming stronger together. Because that is the kind of legacy that truly endures. Long after governments change, long after buildings are replaced, long after today's headlines are forgotten, there will still be children laughing in Boalemo's villages, families gathering around dinner tables, fishermen watching the first light appear above the Tomini Gulf, farmers preparing their fields for another planting season, teachers opening classroom doors for another generation of dreamers. Life will continue, history will continue, and Boalemo will continue writing its remarkable story, quietly, steadily, confidently, just as it always has. Perhaps the world has overlooked Boalemo for far too long, but history has a fascinating way of rewarding places that remain true to themselves. The greatest stories are not always the loudest. Sometimes they are found in places where tradition still guides progress, where communities still value one another, where hope continues to grow with every sunrise. Boalemo is one of those places, not because it seeks recognition, but because it has earned it. And as Indonesia continues moving toward the future with confidence and ambition, Boalemo stands ready to contribute its own unique chapter to the story of a nation that never stops believing in tomorrow.